Voice of power. That voice right there resonated on my heart. That impostor syndrome some of us put on ourselves. We inflicted on our own consciousness. But you made it there. Why are you doubting yourself? Oh, I think I'm going to have to hire her for my life, Tracy G. Who's here?
Oh, my gosh. Citizens, y'all, listen up, bruh. First of all, I just got to note the gift of creativity. Because it's something that we all possess. It's a birthright. But then there are a select few who master creativity. And then from that pool, there are a select few that master creativity and are able to blend it with commerce, with soul, with longevity. And our guest here to my left, she's one of them ones, bruh. She is highly revered in the world of choreography. She is someone who goes beyond the stage with her gifts, although you have seen it because we are still recovering from Usher's Super Bowl halftime show.
Come on.
We're still recovering from Beyonce's global Renaissance tour.
Talk about it.
But there are still powerful gifts that she possesses beyond the stage. She's someone who is also an incredible business coach that can be a benefit to creative entrepreneurs, whether you got rhythm or not. She is someone that I can easily co-sign, citizens. You can hear how incredibly hyped I am. And so it is an honor that she is making her radio debut right here with us on Sway in the Morning. I'm talking about Tia Rivera.
Tia Rivera. Hey!
Yeah.
Tia, it's an absolute pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The honor is truly mine. Thank you for having me.
Shit, you gave us radio voice? What the hell?
No,
Honor.
Her voice been like this.
That's your voice? You got an amazing voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Start doing movie trailers or some shit.
Hey.
I'm just asking questions to hear the voice. Tia, where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn,
on.
New York. Okay.
BK.
BK to the fullest. Was it In Living Color? Was it Fame? What was it that brought you to dance?
All of them.
Okay.
But I started dancing pretty late, to be honest. Like, I watched all those dance movies growing up. I'm in the You Got Served era.
The You Got Served era.
To
That's a
give
good
my-
era.
To give my age away, I'm 33.
Okay.
But I didn't start dancing until my last year of high school, to be honest.
Wow.
I didn't think that this is something that could be a profession. I grew up in a traditional Latina household where you go to school, you go to college.
What ethnicity are you?
I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yeah, but you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, and I actually enrolled into college to study psychology. I thought I wanted to be a psychologist, and I was in a minor in dance. But yeah, my last year of high school is when I gave this thing a shot, and the rest was history.
I want to hear about that shot, but before we get to that shot, being from a Puerto Rican family and wanting to enter the world of entertainment, how did your family receive that initially? Were they all in for it, or did they?
I'm super grateful for both of my parents.
Okay.
So I grew up with a single mom, but my dad is still to this day very present in my life. And when I told them I wanted to dance, they were supportive. They didn't understand it. No one in my family pursued anything creative
Okay.
or any type of business, entrepreneurship. Everyone just, had a job, and I didn't see anybody in my space do this. So even when I did it, I don't think that they believed as much, because I didn't really believe when I first started, if I could be honest. But they were in full support, and I started dancing. I went to college for one semester, and then I actually withdrew because I booked a Michael Jackson tribute tour. This is right after he passed. And that was my first major job. And I had this big decision to make, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm in college, and this is what my parents want me to do, and this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And my parents were in full support. And I was like, I promise I'll go back. And here we are. I've never stepped back.
Come on, look
in
at you.
college.
Never went back. I love that, man.
my
Tia
goodness.
Rivera is here. When you did that Michael Jackson tour, that was your first one, right?
Yeah.
Did you pay attention to the choreographer? Like, how did you go from dance
To choreography. Yeah. So interesting enough, so I started dancing professionally straight out of high school. I've actually never worked a regular job. I went straight to dance.
Well, what does that mean, dancing professionally? Like, is that dancing on music videos?
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, at that level, what
Okay.
I thought was professional is not so professional today.
Okay.
But for me, I was doing like the 116 Festival, the Puerto Rican Festival. I was doing these little club shows, but with upcoming artists, and I was getting paid.
Okay.
Okay.
So, when you're 18 years old, 19 years old, old and you're making a few $100s a show, you're like, oh, wait, I think this can actually be a career. People work a whole week at a job to get paid when I'm getting paid to do a show. So that was my first exposure to the possibility that this can be for me. And again, I decided to bet on myself. I left school. I did that Michael Jackson tribute tour. And then 2011 is like the year where everything kind of happened for me. I got signed to my agency. Shout out to Block Talent Agency. I'm still with the agency
Block
today.
Talent Agency.
Huge agency.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm still with them till today. That was the first year, funny enough, full circle. I know we'll talk about this later, but the first time I worked with Beyoncé.
Okay.
As a dancer, I did her Run the World music video. And then in 2016.
Who runs the world?
Yeah.
Girls?
Yep.
Yeah.
You did the move. Okay.
Yeah. So that was my first time working with her as a dancer. And then crazy, again, obviously full circle, 10 years later, a decade later, I get to work with her as a choreographer. It's been such a beautiful journey.
Wow.
But in 2016 is when I transitioned to choreography. I always knew I wanted to choreograph, to be honest, like since 2011, since I started dancing. But I'm grateful for my mentors because what they taught me was like, always be a student to the game and don't rush the process. So I really took the time to experience everything I needed to experience as a dancer. So while I was on set for the VMAs and the Grammys and these music videos as a dancer, I was watching what is the choreographer doing? How are they interacting with the artist, with the director, and just learning. And then 2016, Fatima Robinson, everybody shout out to
Fatima Robinson.
the
You say that name,
icon.
you better get a applause.
Fatima
Yep.
Robinson.
Yep.
She said
The respect
Fatima.
gotta be high.
Always has,
And an
baby.
ovation right there
Always.
for Fatima. Give a little
So-
history on her so people know
Yeah,
what it is.
of course. So I started working with her in 2014 as a dancer. She hired me as a dancer, and I was stuck to her hip since 2014. And in 2016, she's the first choreographer to take a chance on me. I remember I had reached out to a few choreographers that I had relationships with, letting them know, like, look, I'm ready to transition. If there's any space available on your team, I will grab coffee. I will play music. And she bet on me. You know, she took a chance on me. My trial job was Coachella, which is not really a trial job.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
But that was my first job as a choreographer in 2016, and the rest has been history. I've been working with her ever since and doing my own thing as well, and we still collaborate all the time, and I'm just so grateful for her mentorship to this day.
Wow, man.
Yeah, I was just with her yesterday.
Tell Fatima I'm a big old fan.
Yeah,
Tia
absolutely.
Rivera is here, man. She's worked with everybody from Usher to Snoop, Mary J. Blige, Beyonce. The list goes on.
Yeah. What are the aspects, Tia, of choreography that the average person wouldn't think about in terms of job responsibilities? Because maybe in their mind, the first visual is just someone that's in a studio, mirrors just at every corner, left and right, and you're just spending hours putting together this creative movement. But there's much more, especially when it comes to a tour, when it comes to these major stages.
For sure. So one, I think, let's just start with the creative process.
Okay.
Everybody's creative process is different. So I'm not I think it's kind of because of my upbringing too. Like growing up in New York, even how I started dancing, my very first dance company, we didn't have mirrors. We rehearsed in a lunchroom at a school.
Oh, damn.
Do you know what I'm saying? We rehearsed in the auditorium and we just had to figure it out. So I grew up, going to the house dance conference in New York and like dancing at parties. So a lot of my choreography just stems from me freestyling and moving. So I don't even get in the room with mirrors and create by myself. I just move and, I like to create with bodies around me, and I always create in the room. So I never really prepare in advance, which that's not a skill set everybody wants to acquire. I think there's a lot of pressure when you get into a room and there's a bunch of dancers looking at you, and then the artist is also looking at you like, what are you going to do? But I just know that that's where I live in my gift the most, is just in collaboration in the room. So that's first things first. But also I feel like the responsibility of a choreographer is so much more. A choreographer that has had a career like someone like Fatima Robinson, right? Is so much more than just the steps. It's the leadership, right? Being able to, the Super Bowl that we did together, being able to lead 127 dancers and 6 different artists.
So we're
to
talking
the
about
victory
the Usher.
line.
Which
No.
one?
It wasn't that one. It was the Mary, Snoop, 50
the Dr.
Cent, the
Dre,
Dr. Dre one.
the
Yeah.
Hip Hop 50.
Hip-hop, yeah.
Oh my God.
It was that one.
You choreographed that?
Alongside Fatima and Adrian. Yeah,
Okay.
us 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I was there.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That
I
was-
was there too.
Oh,
Let him know. Hit him with the owl.
Tia on that Puerto Rican. I already know what you're doing. Oh, wow. So, okay, keep going. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, please,
All right.
you're fine.
Well, I want to know, like, it's not easy, right, being a dancer. I remember being on tour with Katy
Come on,
Perry.
tell us about it.
Okay, you heard me.
Okay.
All right, and we were over in Ireland. Tia, and but I got a chance because I joke about the dance world, but my partner and I really did come from the dance world. My sister really did, and so I have an affinity and an appreciation for dancers because a lot of dancers that they're not going to always have your name or a Danny P or a Fatima. You know, most dancers are unsung heroes. You just see them on stage, right?
Yeah.
And it's not easy. Like, what are some of the perils, some of the obstacles, the challenges that dancers have?
I mean, there's so many, Sway, so many. But I would say one of the biggest things that and me and her were talking about this recently too, is just like, we're in an industry where you just want to hear yes and you hear no so often that I feel like sometimes your talent and whether or not you're on a job becomes your identity as a person. And a lot of performers don't know how to separate who they are from what they do. And I think that that's the biggest obstacle that dancers don't even realize that they face until they're waist deep in their insecurity and their lack of validation. And then you uncover like, wow, where is this really coming from? And it's because we're told you're too short, you're too tall, your hair's too curly, you're too Puerto Rican, you're too black, you're too white, all of these things. And all you really want to do is dance for your dream artist. You know, so that term starving artist is real, but I think that it's bigger than just finances. I feel like that also bleeds into emotionally and mentally. And that's why I'm big on, and you know, Tracy knows this, that's why I started my Breakthrough Bootcamp, which is a 30-day mentorship program for dancers, because I just felt like there needed to be this bridge in this gap between personal development and helping dancers become better people and understanding their worth and their value, because I think that when you bring that version of yourself into a room, you're just noticed more. Too.
It increases your chances. Right?
Absolutely. Like when you walk into an audition confident about yourself, if you're sure about you, I'm more likely to be sure about you. But it's like dancers are walking in so unsure and you want me to be sure.
Yeah.
It's just like you want my yes, but you don't even have your yes.
You don't have your own yes.
You don't have your own yes. You know? So it's a lot of things, a lot of things that dancers struggle with.
And what about when it comes to payment? Because I know,
Child,
listen,
is this mic on?
Your mic is on and it's hot.
Like, what does, thinking back with your trajectory, Tia, the first big bag that you got as a professional dancer, and then compared to the opportunities that you have now, what are the variety of payments? And do they come on time? Because we've also heard some dancers. I feel like this was Katy Perry, I believe, where dancers were boycotting. In a sense.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I feel like in the industry, it's very job after job. Like job for job is like gonna determine what the rate is. There is a Dancers Alliance rate that all artists should follow in music videos and commercials, but you have the opportunity to hire non-union dancers. And what comes along with non-union dancers is a non-union rate. And, you know, I can speak now as a veteran looking at the new dancer, like, why would you take the flash mob for $200? But I remember being that girl at 17, just wanted to get something on my resume. So it's just tough because it's just like everyone is in a different space in their life. I don't know if this one job is the way that you're going to pay your rent on the first. So who am I to judge whether or not you're taking the job? And I feel like there's just a lot of... there's a lack of unity when it comes to dancers standing together in alliance and like standing up for what it is that they deserve. And that just comes from multiple levels of experience. And like there's so many dancers in the industry and some just don't know any better. And I don't think that they should be reprimanded for that. And then, you know, obviously there's the veteran dancers that are like, wow, I'm putting in all this work to, you know, make a stand for what is right. So it's just, it's tough. You know, it's tough, but it really does vary. Like tours pay different than commercials, than music videos, than movies. So
it depends.
Tia Rivera is here. Give her a round of applause. This is so interesting. Damn, I'm mad. I wish we had more time. I want to keep talking though.
We need a part two.
We'll do a part two. You just said it. You just booked yourself.
Claimed it.
Let's get to this. To perform in front of Beyoncé, who's been an adamant professional for decades, and you have to audition in front of her?
And choreograph.
And choreograph in front of her.
Well, when I did the Run the World music video, I was actually doing shout out to another one of my mentors, Luan. She was doing a choreography submission to choreograph for the video.
Okay.
And I was just doing her a favor, me and 3 other dancers. So we were just showcasing the choreography to her creative director. We walk into Alvin Ailey, and long and behold, it's an in-person audition, and Beyonce's just sitting in the front. And now, like, 18-year-old me is, like, dying on the inside, right?
Gosh.
And it's just 4 dancers and her, and they're like, okay, well, let's see it. And I'm just like, girls, who run this one? So we do it, and then her creative director at the time comes over and is like, hey, so she wants you guys to fly out to LA to be in the video.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let me check my schedule. Yeah, I'm available.
Up around.
Okay. Right. So that was the first time, and I had to audition. Now, for Renaissance, she hired Fatima Robinson as a director of choreography. And like I said, me, Fatima, and Adrian, we're just like this little perfect trifecta that which has been working together for a really long time. So we did The Color Purple together. We did the Super Bowl. So obviously, when she got the call for Renaissance, she brought us on board, and there was no audition process for that. And we had already done, we did her Oscars performance for Be Alive a few months before that, and then also her first live performance back, which she performed in Dubai about 2 years ago now. So we had already worked with her a few times, so going in to work on the tour was just a really smooth transition into that space.
But there's something else that happens. I use Countess. I had an experience with Countess Vaughn, who used to do the Parkers with Monique. And I never acted, but they put me on set, and I watched her rehearse in front of me and hit her beats before the camera even rolled, and I stole all that from her. I saw how she, you know what I mean? Like how she snapped into character. I was like, oh, shit, I bit the whole thing. Yeah. Right? And I use it to this day, even on this mic, what we do here on this show. Beyonce, you're watching her, you have a chance to work with her, and even Usher. What are some of the things you notice the superstars do that you haven't seen? Is it the way she observes? Is it the way she picked up on choreography? Is it the way she managed her room? Same with Usher. What is their work habits like?
Well, one, she's incredible. As a human, but her work ethic is just unmatched. And I was telling Tracy this, like, I think I have pretty good work ethic, and I'm in the room with her, and I'm like, I need to work a little harder, you know. But just like her attention to detail when it comes to everything that's involved in the tour is just beautiful. Because I think that, again, this generation of artists is just lacking that attention to detail when it comes to everything, even outside of the music, from the costumes to what kind of Marley we're putting on the floor, you know. So
she was involved with all of that.
All of it.
Wow.
And just so passionate about every single aspect, and so kind to everybody from catering to creative director. Yeah.
Is it difficult if, you know, while someone like Beyonce is learning choreography, and say if she's doing a move incorrectly, what goes on in your body? Do you feel comfortable making adjustments, you know, on the fly? Do you feel comfortable disagreeing with her?
Yeah,
or
sure.
is it more so, let me just flow with where she's at?
No.
Okay.
But I think that that's also why someone like myself and Fatima and certain people get hired, because I don't think it necessarily serves anyone to have a yes man on their team.
Yeah.
And she's the person that's like, no, tell me what I can do better. And she hires people around her that are going to make her better. And for me, I just remember that we're all human.
Yes.
Right? So it's just like, if I'm teaching you, for example, like one of the numbers on the tour we did was Naughty Girl, and I choreographed that. If I'm teaching her something, and let's say, you know, she's on the left and it's on the right, I'll mention it. And if she is more comfortable doing it that way, of course, we'll adjust all the dancers to do it her way. But she's not hiring us to
pander to her.
Yeah. You know, but to make sure that she looks incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a big responsibility. So no, I don't have any problem being like, hey girl, it's on the right, it's on the left.
You know, the Renaissance tour, I didn't get a chance to experience. And now that I know you, I know I'll get tickets next time around.
You see that?
But one of my favorite things was to watch Blue Ivy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
So good.
and watch her evolution as a dancer.
Yeah.
What was your take on that as you got the chance to?
She's so lovely. I don't know if you've watched any of the online clips, but she grew
did.
so much
Yeah,
from the first performance
Yeah.
to the last one. Like she just continued to work on it. She would be in like the female dancer dressing room, like going over the steps before the show, just like so excited, and also just this confidence that I feel like just runs in her family, you know,
yeah.
just like she just owns that stage. And it was really beautiful to watch her at that age grow and evolve as the tour progressed, and all the love that everybody had for her too. Every show, every time she came out and she did Black Parade, like people would just scream for her.
Yeah.
And, you know, her mom let her have that moment where it was just like about Blue.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
As I hear you speak, I want to go back to your company that you started to kind of do an orientation for dancers.
For sure.
Because I think what you teaching and what you talk about is applicable to every aspect of life, not just in
Amen.
the dance studio,
Yeah.
right? So can you talk about some of the success stories you've had from people you've been able to coach in life? Okay, you got a whole damn book. All right,
whole list.
it's like an encyclopedia. Okay, all right, go.
The results are the results.
The results are the results.
I mean, yeah, you know, so one, like I started it during the pandemic,
Okay.
which is kind of crazy. God gave me this vision and was like, you need to start this dance mentorship program. And I was like, God, everybody's inside and you want me to be outside. So the very first season, like we wore masks, we had to take tests, but so many breakthroughs happen in the program. So I do 30-day long programs, and then I do weekend intensives. And in both, like, and for me, my favorite part is, yes, dancers uncover what their brand is, and they learn how to elevate their brand, how to have career strategy, how to actually navigate this as a business, because a lot of entertainers don't navigate dance as a business. They navigate it as a hobby, and hobbies don't pay you. And I know that you want to turn your passion into a profitable profession, so that's where I kind of come in. So they learn all these amazing things, and they go on to book their dream jobs. I've had dancers come out, book, you know, movies that they've wanted to do,
Okay.
tour with Beyonce,
Wow.
book their dream agency. So I always have agencies come in. I have relationships with all the agencies because I'm always hiring dancers. So, you know, they're friends of mine. They'll come in just to watch, and I'll do a mock audition. Because also, I wish I had that coming up where you leave auditions wondering, like, what didn't work? Like, why didn't I book the job? So at these mock auditions, we're telling these dancers what we would say behind the table that we would never say to their face, so that they can actually leave and apply what it is that is working for them, and then maybe work on what it is that's not working for them. But so many dancers are now signed to their dream agency. So many dancers have been able to turn this into a real business, have peace in knowing that they have strategy. I feel like people in general, this goes across the board. People don't fail for a lack of having goals. We know what we want to do.
Yeah.
But people fail for lack of execution. So I teach them my personal goal setting formula, and they just, you know, they just skyrocket.
Wow.
Their results.
That's
skyrocket.
amazing, because you don't have to do that. That's a lot of time and energy and tapping into
You know
your
what though? I feel like it's a calling though.
Okay.
Like it's not I always say that portion of my life, it's not a career, it's a calling. And I know that God continues to allow me to have these experiences, like me doing the BET Awards and the Renaissance, all of these things, because of my heart posture. And I genuinely have the heart to just continue to pour out and give back. And I feel like the reason why I'm so abundant is because I abundantly give. You know?
Give her a round of applause. I'm a part.
Levels to this.
I'm in her class right now.
Right.
When you're a dancer or any type of performer, it's true you have to contend with a lot of no's, and a lot of people make you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
That's why mindset becomes so important.
It's everything.
Okay. Speak
It's
to
everything.
mindset, and how do you develop it? How do you
Yeah.
strengthen your mindset?
For sure. One, I think that, and this is one of the first things that I teach. So I have a coaching program for dancers, and I also have one for small business owners. I help them develop their business plan, scale their business to their first 6 figures, and the first place we start in our sessions, whether that be a group session or a one-on-one session, is what's going on up here. Because 10 out of 10 times, it's the conversation that we're telling ourselves.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? On I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving, and we're mentally self-sabotaging. And sometimes it's the people that you don't even think, the impostor syndrome that we were talking about. You're like, wow, I got to this place, and now you're in the room, but you feel like you don't deserve to be in the room, but you're in the room. and you're there because you deserve to be there. So I think it's just one, being honest, and my first focus is awareness. Like, how do you actually feel about yourself? What do you actually think about yourself? Because I think that the minute you become aware, now we can address it. But if you keep sweeping it under the rug, like, no, I'm good, I'm confident, no, but you're not.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, let's peel back the layers of the onion and let's just get a little honest. And people cry, it turns into a whole thing. Okay, it's a therapy session, but it's so needed, because I think that we come into this industry and we feel like we just need to be tough. And, you know, the entertainment industry, it helps you build this tough skin, but we feel like we need to just have armor on all the time. And I feel like people work on their career, but they don't work on who they are as a person. But you bring who you are into this room. You bring who you are into every room. So it's like, how are we working on the person that you're bringing into the opportunity, as opposed to just focusing on the opportunity?
Yes.
I love that. What's the name of your company?
Yeah. So it's not necessarily the name of a company.
Okay.
It's, my dance program is called the Breakthrough Bootcamp, and then I have a one-on-one coaching program.
If people want to join it, how can they do it?
btbcamp.com.
Say that again.
btbcamp.com.
BTB Camp?
Yeah,
BTB.
So the Breakthrough Bootcamp.com.
BTBcamp.com, citizens. Make sure you check that out. And not just if you're a dancer.
Yeah. And I mean, all of the information is in the link in my bio on my Instagram as well. It's at I am Tia Rivera. So they can find all the information that they need there too.
I am Tia Rivera.
Yeah.
Tia Rivera, tell me that you've had many, but what was that one moment that you had to look up and say at the camera of life and say, I cannot believe that I'm here? What was that job?
The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that was it, right? Yo, that shit was crazy. I was there. I saw you.
So one, it's so crazy the way that God works, because before I got the call, I was actually doing season 2 of my Breakthrough Bootcamp. It was in November, and I was like, I'm choreographing the Super Bowl. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm choreographing it. And I wind up in the camp doing a mock audition. I had my friend Adrian make this whole Mary J live edit. And I choreographed it like, this is going to be on stage at some point. Literally the following week, I got the call to do the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So not only did I get to choreograph the Super Bowl, but I got to perform my own choreography at the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Which was so cool. Like, I just remember standing up there and just like, you know, and I performed in front of big crowds, but the Super Bowl has been the biggest for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, as a dancer, that's such a dream job. So to be able to do it with the people that I love, Fatima, Adrian, and then hire so many of my students too. I hired so many students and friends, and it was just such a loving experience, and it was just such a moment for the culture too. For hip-hop.
Man. That was, and
it's just like, if there was any Super Bowl that I could be a part of,
That was the one. You did that, Tia. Give a big round of applause. I love that.
Ma'am.
You did that. Congratulations. You are a walking inspiration.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. And it's not even, you're 33, so this is just
Sky's the limit, yep.
Yeah, you ain't even at halftime.
Nope, first
no pun
chapter.
intended. You see how I brought
That was good. That was
Everybody,
good.
am I right? I'm not
Well
alone
done.
here, right? Everybody? Okay, good.
It's okay. I think you're funny.
Thank you. Oh, well.
Damn.
Wow.
That's the first time I heard that.
That's like saying I don't think you're funny.
Now, Tia making sure that part 2, that part 3, that part 4.
It's okay. I think you're funny.
Oh, I see you trying over here. That's that Puerto Rican humor. I know what it is. I wanted to ask you
talking
this.
about my Puerto Rican.
I love Puerto Ricans. That's all. Boricua. When you mentioned this, and this will be my last question. When you talked about my choreography was used at the Super Bowl, and I think about some of the dances that have been created, especially, and I'm from Oakland, a lot of the Bay Area dances that have been created, that have been copied and emulated in video games, and some of those people never got paid. And I'm curious to the legalities behind choreography. Can you patent moves? Can you trademark routines?
Right.
Like
It's tough. Not really, to be honest. And I feel like there are some, I'm not gonna say no names, but there are some choreographers that have tried and they've just gotten so much backlash, especially for, you know, choreography that's iconic. And it's just like, you know, an artist hires you or a production hires you to choreograph, and they pay you for your time and your service. And now they repurpose that choreography. I've had it happen to me multiple times. You know, I choreograph a tour, and then now this artist is doing Essence Festival and Coachella and all this. And, you know, whether they maybe have a new creative or another choreographer, but they keep old choreography. And then they're repurposing the choreography for other shows that I'm not involved in.
So there aren't like royalties.
No.
When you choreograph
There
once.
needs to be. No.
You
That
can't
doesn't
patent
make sense.
or the moves. You can't trademark.
Let's start a movement, Sway.
No,
That's
there
what I'm
needs to be
saying.
dance royalties. Because if you
Yeah.
choreograph once and it's for tour, and like Tia was saying, even if it's repurposed and say
Yeah.
you're doing it at an award show,
Yeah.
what Tia
Some artists have the integrity of like, you know what, we're gonna repurpose this choreography a year later. Let's bring them in so that they can teach the dancers the way that it's supposed to be taught, and making sure that it looks like what it's supposed to look like. But sometimes they just are like, hey, watch this video. And I've had students of mine on jobs that I've hired for certain jobs go on to doing multiple shows, and they're like, hey, so they're showing your video to these new dancers, and I feel very uncomfortable because I know the choreo and they want me to help, and like I just want to reach out, and and I
Wow.
appreciate that integrity. But yeah, it's
No
pretty,
protection.
it's pretty savage out here.
Savage.
Okay.
Damn, that's like somebody singing your lyrics without
Ay,
your
ay,
permission
ay.
no more.
Yeah.
So is it comfortable when you reach a certain point in your career that you can ask for a higher rate?
Oh, baby.
Okay.
Okay.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yesterday's price
Okay.
Right.
Good.
is not today's. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not-
I mean, of course, like, and for dancers, it's pretty even playing field. But as choreographers, there actually is no standard when it comes to rates. So, someone who's just starting in the industry, obviously there should be a base of what they're going to get paid. But them versus a Rich and Tone or Fatima Robinson, like that's going to look very different.
Word.
Respectfully, as it should. You know, because what you're paying for too is someone's
Experience.
experience.
Yeah.
And like what they come with, not just their time.
I love this conversation, Tia. I'm glad we got a chance to meet. All right, give her a big round of applause and look for her. Tia Rivera, what you got coming up?
Oh, I have 3 BTB intensives coming up this July. I'm going to be in New York City, July 5th through the 7th, Atlanta, July 9th through the 11th, and then in LA the last weekend of July. And they can find that information on btbcamp.com. So.
And what about this weekend?
Oh, the BET Awards.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Come on,
Tune in.
remember?
Listen, and I have rehearsal right after this. It all becomes a blur, y'all. My bad. Yes, BET Awards. We're working on something really special for the Usher tribute, so I'm excited about that.
Congratulations,
Thank
Tia
you.
Rivera. You are a star,
Yes,
and
she
you are an
is.
inspiration. And if people want to reach her, you can reach her directly at.
I am Tia Rivera on my Instagram or btbcamp.com.
Congratulations from one fellow dancer to the next.
I see
There
you.
you
I
go.
see you.
Okay, all right.